All right, we're back again with another edition. Georgia taking on Austin Peay. I don't even know the point spread. Let's see. Let's look that up actually before we get started. It's at 3:30. Off to a blazing start. They don't even have a line, so it doesn't really matter. I would say Georgia's favored. Austin Peay FCS. They play in the ASUN conference. I just looked that up like 5 minutes before we started to record. And Jeff Ferris is their head coach, and he played at Duke, coached at Duke under Cutcliffe, and then coached at UCLA. Now he's at Austin Peay. There were no notable alumni as we kill time for this. I guess this is his second season because he coached in 24. Yeah, so second season under Jeff, Coach Ferris. Yeah, it's a nothing burger. The last time Georgia played him was 2018. To you,
we were there for that game.
Yeah, Justin Fields. First time wearing the red and black. And did we only know that we had 11 more games left of them? Right? Yeah, no, 12. So, whoop-dee. And thanks to him, that's why we have the transfer portal problem. Yeah, I mean, according to you, it was the hottest game, one of the hottest games at Sanford Stadium.
We just looked it up. It was September 1st, 2018.
Yeah.
And, yes, it was very warm. It was especially warm that day. I think it probably would be up there, maybe the hottest game I've ever been to. But outside of that, we were trying to think of what we knew about Austin Peay, and I could tell you absolutely nothing. But obviously, small school, Georgia should use this as a tune-up. Maybe get to see a little bit more of the playbook than what we saw, and I know we could talk about some of the things that we would like to see, all the while knowing that we're not going to be, opening everything up for Tennessee to take a look at. But there's a couple of things that I think Georgia can do that would be interesting. But anyway, I imagine the last time we played them, we beat them 45-0. I would expect something similar to that this time.
It's going to be a hot. Speaking of, it's going to be 90 degrees in Athens on Saturday, so it's going to be hot. I expect more or less of the same from Georgia, given last week. I mean, Marshall is, I think, more talented and better suited to play Division I competition than Austin Peay. God bless them. So, I would expect kind of the same thing. It's more about execution, getting the run game down, getting the bread and butter plays, worked out, and then moving on and playing Tennessee in a, early big game for Georgia, going on the road in Knoxville.
Yeah, I would agree. It is all about execution. I would hope to see, at least to kind of get an idea of the timing and what's the possibility if we get inside the red zone, to see some fade passes to Colby Young, Noah Thomas, right? Some of the bigger receivers, see if we can take advantage of that in the red zone. Again, without showing everything, but I think that could be in the arsenal for Georgia. And we certainly didn't see it last week. I don't think Noah Thomas even, did he catch one pass? We didn't see much of him. And Colby Young, I think, caught a couple. So let's see if we use our size on the outside a little bit more offensively. But I would say heavy dose of running again. I think that's going to be our whole offense is going to be predicated on it. And I think these are tune-up games to figure out what we got and what the rotation on the offensive line is ultimately going to end up being. Of course, we got a couple of guys that have lower body extremity issues, so we don't know how much we're going to see of Green and what's the other guy's name, Gaston?
Yeah, Gaston. Honestly, I'm okay with not seeing Ernest Green. I don't know what happened to him. I know he's extremely talented, and his size, athleticism, could be a really good ball player, but
he's regressed from his freshman year, and I don't know if that's from injuries. I don't know what it's from. I don't want to speculate, but he got beat against Marshall. more than once, but at one time in particular where it's just like, good gracious, son, you've been playing SEC ball now for a couple of years. This shouldn't have caught him flat-footed. But again, I don't want to bang on college kids, but they are getting paid now, and you would think a left tackle that's had a couple of years of SEC play under his belt, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But this is especially based on his freshman year, that this is where we are right now. So anyway, maybe it's because he's been hurt. I don't know. But I defensively, so offensively, I would like to see us hit some of those fade passes and use some of the size on the outside. Defensively, I mean, Kirby talked about it. They're trying as hard as they can, but it would make me feel better to know that we got some ball hogs or we're able to take the ball away. So to come out with a couple of turnovers that in our favor, that would be a big win for the defense too, to give the offense some short field and see if we can take advantage of it.
Yeah, and just come out with this with no injuries. Nobody, you're going to have bumps and bruises, but nobody seriously hurt would be the biggest key to me. And then the win, and just move on to next week. I mean, it's kind of these type of games with opening up with Marshall and Austin Peay. There's good and bad. Good is you're going to win. These are tune-up games. You're trying to see what you have, and you can kind of ease your way in the schedule. Bad is, we haven't seen this team tested yet. We haven't seen them in a knife fight where they're going to be a team that is comparable in talent, and we're not going to see that till probably up in Knoxville next week. So just want to execute, do well, both offensively and defensively, and get out here with no injuries. I think those are the keys.
And I would imagine, again, I don't know, but I would imagine from a coach's perspective, these games are good and bad for different reasons. You get a lot of opportunity to play and see what you got and develop. Kirby spoke to that last week about, that's part of their development plan is to get up on these teams and then play a lot of people, which is good. But the mistakes get covered over a little bit more to where they're not as damaging. So you bust a coverage against Marshall or against Austin Peay, and it may not be exploited. You bust and so when you're trying to teach a young guy, hey, this is, that's when he talks about the process, I guess, over the result. If your process is wrong, you bust a coverage against Austin Peay, they might not be able to take advantage of it. But you do that against Tennessee, they will take advantage of it. So since they won 45-0, everybody feels good about themselves. It may be hard to make the impression. I don't know that. But when a team's younger and there's a lot of competition at positions, I would think that some of that might get mitigated. In other words, players may take it more to heart even though they're winning 45-0. So to your point, these are nothing in my mind but glorified scrimmages. But then again, we're reminded what happened to Michigan against App State, and that's something you've got to always guard against.
Yeah, you do. And I don't know what that means or, what the competition looks like, but hopefully they just go out there and do a good job. Sorry about the technical difficulties. My computer's trying to be challenging with me as my light goes in and out, but who cares? All right. Anything that you want to talk about in particular before we move on?
About the game? No. I think we've said about all that we can say, considering we don't know that much about Austin Peay, and it shouldn't be that much of a competition.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, all right. Well, let's talk about Kirby and what he had to say about, look, you're playing Austin Peay. There's always going to be some sort of drama in the press clippings. And I guess this week the media decided to drum up what's going on with the fan base, with I wouldn't even say it's attendance. That wasn't really the question, but now it has become that. There was an empty section Saturday last week against Marshall, but it was against it was the student section. It was a student body, not the actual fans.
Yep, and it was a holiday, so I'm not making excuses for the fan base, but I would say this needs to be a concerted effort. Kirby made the point of, hey, we only get so many of these a year. It should be a certain standard, a certain expectation that you show up and all those sorts of things, and I agree with all that, but the city of Athens and the school, and I don't know where the demarcation falls, but they've got to make it easier for fans to come and see a game. Removing all the parking and the traffic and closing roads, you're already paying, on the secondary market for not great seats. By the time you're in, $50 each to go see Marshall play, right? So $100, which, whatever. But for a lot of people, that's a lot of money, $50 a seat. And you're bringing a family, and then you got to pay to park, walk your ass off to get there. It's 90 degrees. It's a holiday weekend to see Marshall, and then you know that you're going to have a hell of a time getting out of the city of Athens. And so you leave the game early because, you're tired. I don't think fans should be busted on about that. I think there's some culpability with the city of Athens and with the university on making it easier. Secondarily, the price of tickets has gone way up. And then you made a good point, and I should have thought about it, but back in the day, you stand on Sanford Drive, and you'd see people out there, got to, selling to, need to, and there would be a lot of secondary transactions going on. Now that we've all gone to digital tickets, there's a lot less of that. So people, a lot of times, I think the students are just eating those tickets instead of giving them away or bartering or whatever the case. So that restricts attendance to some extent from the casual fans and the students that maybe want to go and could have gone but they didn't. I don't know, but there's a lot of issues, and I would also say fan engagement in terms of being connected to the players is not what it used to be. So we've got to guard and be cognizant of all these factors instead of just shitting on the fans. And if we deserve some culpability, fine, but I think there's enough to go around. Is kind of where I would say.
It's an easy thing to do to blame the fan base, because it's a loyal fan base. It's something that's taken for granted. It's a rabid fan base. It's easier to do to shit on them. But yeah, parking is an issue. You have, the baseball fields were taken away. Don't know why. That
Intramural fields.
Intramural fields were closed. Don't know why. Hopefully that changes. Next week or this upcoming week. You got fan engagement is not great. Outside of the pregame, where it's all going to be the same stuff and the tradition. I like that. The solo battle hymn, the lone trumpeter, great. Larry Munson, fantastic. The play on the field, good, fine, fantastic. Everything in between, it needs to be worked on. The city of Athens closing down the roads, making it harder to get around. They have massive amounts of construction on the main artery to get into downtown Athens. Crazy to me that they're doing that during football season. And then the next thing is, the student section and then the student tickets is a fiasco. It was a fiasco when I went there. You had to pay an athletic fee, which fine, whatever. But now they're getting to the point where they're cracking down on people selling their tickets. Well, they're the ones that paid for it. If they want to sell their ticket, they should be able to.
Plus, if somebody's going to buy it, they're going to show up.
They're going to show up, and then they put it in a lottery to people, and it's randomly selected. You don't know when you're going to get that. is a shitty system. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. And it didn't work during COVID. It didn't work at all. I don't know why they continue to do that. The administration, the academics need to figure that out. It is a disaster. So there are students that want to go to the football games. And the fact that those students aren't getting them, and then the people who show up and leave after the first quarter or the second quarter, it is asinine to me. So it needs to be fixed. I don't know if they'll ever fix it. I'm not the guy to ever, figure that out. I mean, it could be.
I don't think it's going to be a problem on big games. And you're also some of this is going to be solved by going to a 9-game. You know what I mean? So a lot of this, like you said, they're looking for things to bitch about, and trying to. But some of these other issues like that, what you just mentioned, the traffic and the parking, all those things would make it easier, and quit freaking gouging people that want to come to the game.
Yeah, this is, to me, I find these type of games, the reason why they're good and why I can sell it to myself is because this is for the 5-year-old kid, and I know I said in the last recording, to experience what Georgia football is all about as a good recruiter, and it gets people to look at your front porch and gets people in and want to go to the University of Georgia. That would be me, right? Like that's what happened. There's a long line of that happening. So pricing people out who might not be able to afford to go to a Ole Miss or a Texas or an Alabama game or any SEC game, that's where you're going to cause problems, and you're going to see probably, in-state kids who are the most important not want to go to Georgia as much. They could go to another school, and that passion's not there. That's all what I worry about in this type of situation. So, to me, though, the most important factor is figuring out the student ticket issue. I was there for way longer than I should have been, but I was there for 4 years, 5 years, whatever, and they changed the system. Granted, COVID, that kind of threw a monkey wrench into everything. But on top of that, they changed it 3 different times. How it works. And none of the systems work. I don't really understand. It should be first come, first serve. That would make it easier.
Well, to me, that's fine. And the other part is making it easier on the secondary market for students to be able to do with their tickets what they want to, instead of having to go through this lottery system. To me, that's a little over intrusive, in my opinion. If you pay for the tickets through student fees or athletic fees or whatever the fees are, they're now your tickets. Now, once you get inside the gate, you got a certain responsibility on how you act and what you do and all that kind of stuff. But what you do with them after you purchase them is nobody's business but yours, and the person that, if you want to sell them, you sell them to. And my point is, the student or even somebody like me that doesn't mind sitting on the student section just to get in the game, if we buy them, we're going to show up because that's what we want to do. A student, they're not looking, you know what I mean? They don't want to go. So I think that part would solve a lot of that student issue. Yeah. But you were talking about the sorority girls, and we're not just picking on it. It's not just sorority girls, but
fraternity guys too,
coming in and making their presence known and taking pictures before the hedges and with in front of the cheerleaders, and then leaving by the end of the first quarter. It's like, bro, you could stay here and leave in the beginning of the fourth once we got it. I mean, nothing's going to be happening downtown or at your fraternity or sorority house. But anyway, I don't know what you could do about that. I know Saban threatened to take their tickets away. I don't think you can get that, but something I agree needs to be done, and maybe that's the fan engagement once you get inside the stadium. And I think University of Georgia's done a better job of making it more like a party or a club atmosphere once you get inside, especially the big games. But on games like this, it's even more important to have some stuff to keep people engaged once you're inside the stadium, right?
Yeah, totally agree. All right. moving on from that, let's pick some games. Iowa State, big noon. Iowa's traveling to Iowa State. Have a pick.
I have a pick.
Yeah, do you want to?
I'll pick the home team, Iowa State.
I will always pull for Iowa State. Shout out Darren. Shout out Matty Ezra. All right. Let's see. Oklahoma State goes to Oregon. CBS. Interesting game, just because of the brand recognition. Pick on that one.
Yeah, and I'll stick with you said goes to, or I'll pick Oregon. I don't even know what they have this year.
I'll go with Oregon as well. Let's see. I didn't even know this game was happening. Totally forgot about it. Ole Miss is going to Kentucky. Kentucky stinks, but Kentucky's had Ole Miss's number past couple times. Have a pick. Ole Miss is favored by 9.5.
I would take Kentucky in the points because I think I think the fan base is pissed with Stoops, and more of the same. I think is going to put. I think that seat's already hot. I could get a lot hotter. So,
I'll take Kentucky to cover. I'll take Ole Miss to win. I think there's something about Kentucky. It's Ole Miss's bugaboo. Big game. I know I teased it Monday. Kansas going to Missouri. It's 3:30. Missouri's favored by 6.5.
Missouri's got that backup quarterback, but I will tell you, I tuned into that game after I think it was the first or second play. The starting quarterback got hurt for Missouri, and I didn't know that until I started watching. Found out later he's second string. I thought the guy looked good, but you know what? I'm gonna pull, even though it's pulling outside the conference. I'm gonna pull for Kansas. I kind of like what that guy has going out there.
Yeah,
So.
I like him too. I think Kansas. I like their quarterback. I like the offense that they run. I don't know if I'll take them to cover. I don't know if they'll win. I would hedge that, but I like Kansas in that game. Whatever that means, I'll take them.
And that used to be a big time rivalry, and yeah. So I would anticipate that being kicked off. That could be a fun game to watch, actually.
Yeah. All right. 2 games that are worth watching, and then there's nothing. It's a bad week. All right. You got. Let's see. I lost my place. Arizona State traveling to Mississippi State in Starksville. Arizona State's favored by 6.5.
Night game or day game? Do you know?
Night game.
I don't know what they've got. They were really bad, but they put a lot of points on Georgia last year, so I don't know. Playing at night in Starkville is a little bit different, but Arizona State was a playoff team last year, and I don't know what they're right.
Big 12.
I'll pick Arizona State. I just don't. I think it's going to be tougher than they think. They'll play it at night in Starkville.
I'll take Mississippi State. I'll take.
I'm pulling for them.
Why not? All right. Big game. This is really more or less a brand game. Game day's going to be there. I don't really understand why both these teams were not good last year. Michigan going to Norman. Oklahoma's favored by 5.5. I would say Oklahoma is going to win this game. I'll take them straight up. I know there's a lot of hype to Bryce Underwood and Michigan. I think Oklahoma probably beats them.
I'm gonna pick up Oklahoma.
Or not Jackson Hole. Shit. John Meter. I like him a lot.
There again, I think Venables is on life support, and I would anticipate that Oklahoma has to have this game. So I would pick Oklahoma.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are our picks. Oh, well, we have to do the business here. Pick the final score of. By the way, I was dead close.
Dead close. I don't know if that's the saying, but okay.
I had 2 things in my head. All right. The final scores.
Georgia 49, Austin Peay 3.
Georgia 52. Let's shoot for the moon. Let's put a 50 burger up. 52. I'll say Austin Peay 14.
All right.
Put it in the third strings. They give up a big play.
Well, I think, we'll see. If they score 13, or you said 13?
14.
All right. If they score 14, I'm going to be slightly disappointed. Depends on how it comes, but yeah, I'd be shocked.
I think it's all late second quarter, or not late second quarter, late second half would be my thought. All right. Well, we'll be back to recap probably Sunday. We'll be doing it. So Sunday, look for a recap of the game and then what else happened in college football that week. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow us on social media at Terminus Sports _ATL. That's on Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok. And we'll see you on the other side.
See ya.